Welcome to The Explainer. If you're focused on that sweet spot where sustainability actually meets hardcore business strategy in the construction materials sector, you are in exactly the right place today. We're going to be looking at the SASB standards, specifically the ones for the construction materials industry, and unpacking a seriously powerful tool. We are going to figure out exactly how to quantify sustainable product innovation, because let's face it, we all know sustainability isn't just a compliance checkbox anymore, right? It's a massive driver of top-line revenue. But the million-dollar question has always been, how do we actually, accurately, measure it?
Okay, let's dive into this because honestly, this is the fundamental challenge for anyone, business leaders, investors, you name it, looking at the construction materials space. How do you move past those vague, fluffy marketing claims and prove the actual ROI on your sustainable product lines? Basically, how do you separate the greenwashing from genuine financial growth? Well, the International Sustainability Standards Board, using the SASB standards, gives us the ultimate solution. They've laid out very specific, quantitative metrics that let companies calculate exactly how much of their revenue is being driven by products that actually reduce environmental impacts.
I love this quote straight from the SASB standard. It says, "Innovations in building materials are an essential component in the growth of sustainable construction." And it's so true. Consumer demand and tighter regulations are just supercharging the adoption of sustainable building materials. Everyone wants materials that are highly resource efficient or that reduce health impacts over the whole life cycle of a building. This is creating a huge wave of new business opportunities. And get this, some of these innovative products require less energy to make, or they use recycled inputs, which literally lowers production costs. So we're not just ticking boxes here, we are talking about vital indicators of long-term competitive growth. So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll touch on the green business opportunity. Then, tracking certified product revenue. Third, calculating the addressable market. And finally, estimating your market share.
All right, Part 1, Tracking Certified Product Revenue under Metric EMCM 410A.1.
This metric right here is the real deal. It's all about directly linking your sustainability efforts to your sales figures. The official definition is the percentage of products that qualify for credits in sustainable building design and construction certifications, strictly measured by annual sales revenue. So notice that. It's a targeted, quantitative percentage. You aren't just counting up how many different eco-friendly products are in your catalog. You are measuring the actual dollars and cents those specific products bring in relative to your total building product revenue. So the crucial point is the math formula, which, in a rare treat for corporate accounting, is surprisingly straightforward. Think of it as a simple fraction. Your numerator is the revenue you generated during the reporting period from products that qualify for credits in recognized sustainable certifications. And your denominator? That's just your total revenue from all your building products combined. Divide the top by the bottom, and boom, you have your percentage. But, and this is a big but, pay attention to the word recognized certifications. You absolutely cannot just invent your own in-house green label for this. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific list of recognized certifications the standard explicitly names. We are talking about the heavy hitters: BREEAM by BRE Global, Green Globes, LEED by the U.S. Green Building Council, and the ICC's 700 National Green Building Standard. Basically, if your products helps a builder score points in these highly rigorous, third-party frameworks, the revenue from that product counts for your metric. Now, if a company's products qualify for a different certification, they can actually include it, but they have to disclose the name and prove why it's just as rigorous or even more rigorous than the ones on this list. However, as with any solid accounting framework, there are strict boundaries. You have to watch out for this critical exclusion rule. You must completely exclude raw or intermediate materials that require additional manufacturing before they can actually be put into a building. So if you're mining a raw material that somebody else has to heavily process before it ever sees a construction site, you have to leave it out of both the numerator and the denominator. This just makes sure the metric stays laser-focused on finished or near-finished building materials where the sustainability perks are tied directly to the final product.
Okay, moving right along to Part 2, Calculating the Addressable Market. This is Metric EMCM 410A.2, Part 1.
Now we're going to look at the future revenue potential of your innovations. The first step is defining the total addressable market, or TAM. The standard defines this as the potential revenue you'd get if your entity captured exactly 100% of the market share for a specific product category.
Think of TAM as the absolute ceiling. It's the maximum possible revenue opportunity for these reduced impact products, whether you're looking at a global scale or a specific regional market. It just sets the baseline for exactly how big the pie really is. But which products actually get to be counted in this massive total addressable market? Well, SASB specifies 4 distinct lifecycle impact reductions. First, products that explicitly reduce user energy consumption or boost efficiency, like, say, a highly advanced insulation. Second, products that reduce water usage during manufacturing, assembly, or when the product is actually being used. Third, products that use secondary or recycled materials instead of virgin materials. And fourth, products that feature design innovations specifically meant to lower carbon emissions during manufacturing, maybe by using renewable fuels or processes that just require less energy overall. And just to ground this, when we look directly at the SASB framework table, code EM-CM-410A.2 actually mandates that entities provide both the total addressable market in their presentation currency and their share of that market as a percentage. Seeing it formally coded in black and white really reinforces the credibility here. This isn't just speculative marketing or a PR fluff piece. It is a hard, quantitative financial disclosure that investors are actively looking for. Which brings us to part 3, estimating your market share. Metric EM-CM-410A.2, part 2. And this brilliantly illustrates the next crucial question. You know how big the pie is now, but how much of it do you actually command? To find your exact market share, you just take your revenue from those specific impact-reducing products we just talked about and divide it by the total addressable market you calculated. That gives you your slice of the pie. It's a fantastic, clear-cut metric that instantly tells your stakeholders if you are a dominant force in sustainable materials or if you're just a tiny player in a rapidly expanding sector. Let's move to and see how this builds into something even bigger. The standard actually lets you go beyond just a current snapshot. Once you calculate your current market share, you need to note if there's a big gap between your total addressable market and your serviceable available market, meaning the portion of the market you can actually realistically serve right now with your current sales channels and capabilities. Plus, entities can project future market size, looking out maybe 10 years, or they can put a stake in the ground and disclose a targeted 3-year market share. That turns a static number into a dynamic strategic roadmap for growth. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on regarding your own strategy or the companies you're analyzing. Are your sustainable innovations actively capturing the market, or are they just sitting on a shelf capturing dust? By rigorously applying these specific SASB metrics, tracking your revenue from LEED and BREEAM qualified products, nailing down your total addressable market, and strictly calculating that market share, you take sustainability from a corporate buzzword and turn it into a highly quantifiable, undeniable competitive advantage. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Keep measuring what matters, and we'll catch you next time.